buy a 15-year. All right, so there's some different ways to get out of debt. You can look at that, but I wanted to get to our last key point here, which is the best way to get out of debt. And so I'm going to share my screen with you. Hold on just a minute. All right, let's watch this short clip. This is how to get out of debt. Ready? You guys, can you not hear it? Okay, well, we won't watch that then. It's this is a link that you can also watch. Not sure why that's not working. So let's go to PowerPay. Anybody heard of PowerPay before? This is the way to pay off your debt. So the debt elimination or debt snowball plan. Can you guys you can see that? You go into PowerPay. This was created by State came up with this, but one of the apps that we have for PowerPay was actually done here in Jeannie Gleason's office at NMSU, and so it's fantastic. You sign in, and you can see it has PowerPay, a spending plan, Power Save, different calculators, and so there's a lot of great information on here. But one of the things that I think is the best, and why it's called PowerPay, is this payment calendar. And so if you pay, well, I'll do the survey on this later. A lot of times you hear that it's good to pay an little bit extra to every debt that you have and try to get them all paid off. But realistically, instead, what you want to do is you want to pay the minimum payment to all of your debts except the one with the lowest balance, and you want to pay all extra money to that debt until it is paid off. And then as you pay that off, you move that money back into the next one. So any of you that's read Dave Ramsey, that's the snowball effect, the four laws to financial prosperity. It's the debt eliminator plan, and this allows you to do it. So these are not my debts. I don't have any debt except for my mortgage, which I am accelerating and paying off early. Live what you preach, right? And then, but this is some made up stuff. And so then you click the payment calendar and you go over here and it shows you how many payments and how much you paid and how much of interest, etc., that you paid on these. But you can go down and see this detailed calendar of the payoff, which is pretty neat. So you can see that the car loan one is the first one to go. You pay all the extra money that you can to that payment, and in this case, there's no extra money going, right? It's just the $350, and once $350 is paid off, then you move that over to the MasterCard, and then roll that over to the Visa, then roll that over to the car loan. What you can do, though, is in PowerPay, this extra payment here, you can click on that, and you can say you want an extra $100 or extra $200 or extra $50. And you do that monthly or one time, and then you see how fast it accelerates, and that gets you really excited to stop going out to eat all the time and doing all these other things and say, wow, if I could just find an extra $50 a month, I could get out of debt instead of, let's go back to this. All right, with their mortgage, you go down here, and it shows you, so instead of 27 years and 7 months, you're out of debt, in this case, 15 years and 5 months, and the amount you saved was $90,000. So say this was you, and you put your information in, and you say, oh, wow, instead of being in debt with my mortgage paying so much for 27 years, 7 months, I can be out of debt in 15 years and 5 months, but if I add an extra $50 or $100 a month, instead of 15 years, it's now 11 years or 12 years. And instead of $90,000 saved, I save $120,000. What if I move it up to 150 or 200? And you start getting excited about paying off your debt, including your mortgage, in 9, 8, 9, 10 years, all of it, by doing this debt snowball method and finding other money to attack your debt, including your home mortgage. Of course, first you'd want to pay off your consumer debt. So how does this coincide with our discussion? Yes, PowerPay is free online. How does this coincide with our discussion on savings? Because remember, we said the earlier you start, the faster it grows and compounds. And there's this question, well, do I put money into investing or do I put money into paying off debt? And the answer was you do both. It depends on how much debt you have and the kind of debt, etc. If you have a lot of consumer debt, then you want to at least start investing and start your savings. And so you can do small things, whether it's with acorns.com or something else where you're putting $25 or $50 a month into savings and into investing. So you build that habit, you get into the habit, you see it growing and you get excited and want to put $75 and then $100. And then it's the same thing with the debt. If you have a lot of consumer debt, you start it with the investing and then you put all of your other effort into getting that paid down with the debt elimination program or the debt snowball. As it's getting paid down and things are getting paid off, as you're looking at this calendar and things are accelerated, you get excited and say, I want to find extra money to pay my debt off, and I want to find extra money to invest. And those things become exciting to you so that you have more power to then say no to these less important things. Do I want to go out to eat? Do I need that new shirt? Do I have to go and spend $2,000 on a vacation? The answer is no. We start looking at our needs and eliminating some of those or minimizing some of those wants, because our want is now to pay off this debt and to build and increase our investment in savings. At least I'm kind of a nerd, I guess. That gets me excited. I don't know about you guys, but if you can pay off your debt in 8 to 12 years instead of 30 and build wealth and retire a millionaire rather than buy a brand new car every 6 years or go out to eat all the time or buy too expensive of a house, you know, you have to decide what's most important to you. And so a moderate home, a moderate car, don't be house or car poor. Do fun things. A lot of things in life are free and entertaining. We don't necessarily have to do expensive vacations, etc. And so anybody have any thoughts or questions about this idea of the powerpay.org or this debt elimination, debt snowball? Please type it down there if you do. So the first way, just we're finishing up here, is stop the digging, stop the bleeding. You can't keep going into debt. So if you're going further into debt right now, you have to figure out a way to live within your means, to spend less than you earn. Once you've done that, then you need to start going the other way and living on less than you earn instead of what you earn. Another thing is to have an emergency fund and a plan for periodic expenses. So Christmas isn't an emergency, right? Your semi-annual insurance payment for your automobiles, that's not an emergency. You should plan for those. There's periodic expenses that you should know are coming, and you put aside money so when those things come up, you can do them. A vacation isn't an emergency. An emergency would be your car breaks down. But if you have a $1,000 emergency fund, you use that. And the reason is to break the cycle of debt, to take the debt pledge. Here's just another example from the 4 laws of financial prosperity, what it might look like. And then this is an example of what I did when I was an undergrad and helping people get out of debt. I would go and do this kind of a thing for them. And so in this example, they were in debt for 27.6 years. They were going to be paying $443,000 on their principal and interest with all of their debt. And by doing the debt snowball, they would be out of debt in 12 years, save $92,000 in interest. And then once they were done, if they continued to invest it, instead of, oh, good, or we're debt free, now we can just go buy more stuff, they continued to pay that money towards the investment, then even at 5%, they would have $750,000 at the 27.6 years. And so if you remember our investing, if you can attack the debt and get that paid off and then use that full amount going towards investing, Now you're really accelerating these payments. You guys remember this with savings? As you invest, then you will grow and you can be getting this $1.2 million that we talked about. So remember, we want to avoid debt. We want to minimize it. In fact, we want to eliminate it if possible and become debt-free forever. And so the homework for you guys is to put your debts into PowerPay to create your debt elimination program. Another one is to automate debt elimination program. Whenever we don't have to make a decision every single month, it's always helpful. Instead of, if I had to decide every time to put all my money towards this extra payment, and then as 2 or 3 things got paid off, I'm like, I'm paying like $400 or $500 extra a month to this. That's been pretty good. Maybe this time I'll only put $300, and then in a few months maybe I'll only put $200, and then pretty soon we're not paying any extra. And so making it automatic and taking that, it takes a lot of discipline. So removing that out of your hands, making it automatic is good. So you want to pay minimums to all debts, put all extra money to the debt with the lowest balance. Once that debt's paid off, you pay all the extra money to the next debt, etc., until all consumer debt is gone. And then you start investing more highly, instead of a few hundred, you do 15% of your gross income, and you continue to try to put all your extra money you can towards your house to pay that off. Use bill pay with your bank and credit or bank and credit union. You pay minimums to everything, and then just say, I'm paying $500 to this credit card instead of $60, and make that an automatic payment. You don't have to think about it. So homework, put it into PowerPay. 2, automate your debt elimination plan. 3, teach this to someone else. Or if you're an extension agent that wants to share this with others, many people, right? Do a program, help people get out of debt. Other things, stop going further in debt. You need to spend less than you earn. Track it. Use a budget. Create a $1,000 emergency fund so you can break the cycle of debt. Save and pay cash instead of taking out an auto loan or any loan. And then finally, take the no debt pledge. To do this, all you have to do is scream at the top of your lungs, I have had enough. I am tired of debt and paying interest. I will not borrow any more money. So feel free to do that on your own. And then here are the resources. Debt elimination, the PowerPay, repaying student loans, the debt clocks, financial education in the US, that link to watch the Drive Free Retire Rich, the US debt, etc.